Someone left a comment on one of my YouTube videos this week, and it made me wonder because I usually make videos about biophilic design, nature, AI, the intersection of all of these. And of course, I was not offended by the comment. I really appreciate it. But I've been thinking about it for days on how people right now are actually seeking something that is simple, either than other information, this effort on receiving new informations. And I think it's a topic for mostly all of us, even the people who are interested like me in design and in future and how the trends are evolving. And as a creative technologist, I could not ask myself this question, how to make a product that, or a concept or an app or everything that can be useful for the brain to rest. I think that's the most important problem in design in 2026. Not how do we make things smarter, more optimized and data rich, but how do we make things that make people feel more rested, feel better with themselves and not so overwhelmed. And today I wanted to do something different, open the Figma Jam and insert all the work that I've been doing with AI, research on design, on how nature can improve this. I'm starting to map out somehow what the right antidote might look like. So I wanted to start with the word burnout, first of all. I'm gonna put it in here. And then right below it, some keywords. What do I feel mostly when I'm working? Overwhelmed, not having enough time, much information daily, lack of motivation, stress, fatigue. So I guess this is okay for now. I'm just gonna put it here. So what I'm gonna do right now is show you the conversation that I had previously with AI. Maybe let's write it down like design fix. And I asked AI on like to perform and to give me the best advices as a senior psychologist, psychotherapist, but also designer, art director, and everything in between, to let me know what are the best advices that I can have in order to help the human brain and help reset the attention, the focus, to not be so overwhelmed, less stress and with less anxiety. The output was interesting because I'm going to show you now. I actually asked Gemini. Okay, so I'm going to copy the test here. I like to put some stickers as well when I'm in usually. So here we are with all these informations. And the first pillar was cognitive architecture, so re-aging the brain and repairing it, the hippocampus and the prefrontal cortex. I'm gonna highlight it, this one, maybe with pink color. So what I find out with this research is that there is a theory actually called attention restoration theory, built by the same people who also talked about biophilic design, so study kind of the environmental philosophy of what spaces makes us feel comfortable and whatnot. There is this research, like the study, for the attention restoration values of exposure to natural environments and images, as I said. But since I don't have time to read all of that, I'm gonna ask AI, what should I get from this article? Explain shortly. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna highlight the things that are more irrelevant, such as this theory, which is really interesting. And also the first pillar. Soft fascination, the most critical element, it is a sensory input that holds attention without effort. So flickering, shadows, moving water, avoid hard fascinating bright colors, fast movement and text. Being away, this is really interesting. The design must feel like a different world from the user's habitual digital environment. So the modern life, the problem is the dumb scrolling, right? We come home from a really tired day, we we think that dumb scrolling is actually just not using your brain for a second, right? Because you have dopamine constantly, which is not the remedy. And it's really damaging for the brain. And I do it also. So I'm not searching for a solution only for myself, but for all of us. Being a creative technologist, that most of the time have to use a computer and stay updated with what happens and with AI and everything, I wanted to have a remedy to that. Also, because mostly of the informations are there now. If I want to search something, or I don't know, anything is based on digital. So that the thing is not to create only an app that look like nature or has pictures of nature. That's not the goal. The goal is to understand better what sound, what pictures can relax the brain, and how can they interact with one another. How can we interact and still not be attention forced? It's not easy. That's why I want to do this map, to analyze all the positive and the negative sides on what I can get from them and what can I create. I'm gonna add also this book that I find is good to read. I'm gonna add it also in my diary. Stefan Kaplan and Rachel Kaplan. So seeing all of these points, one thing that I want to say for sure is that the part of the antidote, of course, it might be something that is a slow decision making, because what's a huge overdrive of overwhelming thingy is the control. So needing to have everything in control, because everything is moving so much faster, but not only in design, also in the daily life. Like for me, being in 25 years old, seeing all the achievements of other people or the processes of the other people's life, you think like you're left behind. You don't have much time to make your own things, and everything gets so stressful because of this, which is absolutely not the truth. And so in the antidote, of course, I want to involve creating this pocket of genuinely choices, like a slow life, making decisions, no stress, activities where the pace is yours. I want to spend some time here because someone left another comment on my LinkedIn post saying that for them, nature is the remedy. But in this case, I believe that completely. But in this case, I want to be specific about why that helps, and to create a similar concept, because if you say to someone, go outside, that's not just the only remedy, because you'll go back home, as I said, and you will continue to dumb scroll on your phone. So I wanted to understand the mechanism, and that is why I think now on Figma I can add the part where what nature actually offers to us. So let's continue reading. Of course, like the growth of new neurons, high cortisol kills them, nature-based, and exercise stimulates them, and I completely agree with that. Brainwave entertainment, moving the brain from beta to alpha, to a more relaxed, creative dream, using sensory inputs. The 3-day effect, which is spending 3 days in nature, but not everyone has the luxury to do that because everyone is overworking and has a life in itself. So nature is not always the remedy to go outside. I don't think it is important to write them down like this, but I'm gonna go below that. I still have it written here. I just want to subtract like the main points. Spacing effect. I don't know what that means, but let's search it. Spacing effect. Well, that is a crucial point for me as well, this spacing effect, because I'm a person who, if I start something new, I have to be completely good at it. And if I'm not, then it's not worth trying. I don't know why, but my brain works this way. So this is a value I can add also for myself. I just added the picture here. Space retention is about spreading or learning over time. Now let's move on to the sensory taxonomy, the body. That is also an interesting point. Okay, so in the second pillar, what is interesting about this is something I didn't know. It's called fractal dimensions. Humans prefer a fractal dimension between 1.3 and 1.5. More specifically, complexity of clouds and trees, and this reduces visual noise by 40%. One other thing that is interesting is the pink noise and brown noise, and like the white noise, those mirror the power spectrum of the human heartbeat and rustling leaves. So it's something relaxing, and I'm gonna put the image here as well. One other thing that is fascinating is how to create a system or a concept or what the final result will be that is helping the body feel safe. So because digital world has made us disembodied, so helping the body feel where it is in the space. It's something helpful, and I really want to stick with this and add it to the mood board. And I want to search some images for that because images are always helpful, specifically for this topic, because I think it's really important that when we are in the phone, we somehow transfer ourselves in this digital space where our body, it is not there. So this grounding effect is really important from this thingy, like us not belonging anywhere, and this whole disconcentration and losing our sense of being present into this feeling. Images are, of course, from Pinterest, because Pinterest for life. And let's move forward. Of course, materials play a huge role in this, and the lights as well. Being in cold spaces with cold lights stimulates your brain to the somatosensory cortex. This gives you a different whole perception, right? Also, like this wood image, it really like releases my eyes. It's really relaxing to see the patterns as well, the coloring, the wood, the warm wood lights. However, moving forward to the third pillar on behavioral ethology, the focus is to break the dumb scroll. I hate motorcycles. I'm really sorry that you have to hear this. Through the evolutionary biology. So let's move forward. That's a huge, huge factor in my opinion. The dumb scrolling, it's really like the dopamine hit for finding new things each time. It leads you to not being able to sit with boredom. Like when you are bored or annoyed, like that is a negative thing, which is not, but in the moment we're living in the world we're living in, this needs to be fixed. So I really hope at the end of this whole study and this whole concept, mood board, and talking with AI to find the right solution, I really hope I can find a system that can help with that for you, but also for myself. And one thing could be gamifying the finding of real-world biological patterns, as Gemini says, birds, plants, light shifts. That could be an interesting point. And the blue light versus melanopic looks is because we're artisans with the sun, because we go to bed really late and we wake up in unconsidered times, which is not the biological cycle when you have to get up or when you have to go to bed. So this is also important. The light, I usually tend to put the warm tones on my computer and on my phone to not damage my eyes. Like it's not 100% of the fix, but at least I try to avoid that, to have a better sleep. And also I try to go to bed earlier to have my brain not overwhelmed with data before I go to bed, because that's really disruptive sleeping. And the concept of sun sinking with interfaces and the environment must change to this temperature. So if the final product is an app, for example, I can use my focus to the lightning thing and already put this temperature in the application to protect the melatonin production, which is something we don't see. Like, of course, maybe it is better that you can regulate it yourself, but then no one does it because people tend to forget all the time. So this is a key point as well. The fourth pillar and the last one for today would be the conceptual strategy. And this is a really cool comparison, which is the small self effect. I haven't thought about that, but this is also really cool. Because, for example, when we look at the stars that are smaller than us and we look at them in the distance, we have this, oh, like the research shows that this also decreases rumination. So the loop of self-focused anxiety, because yeah, this is actually a good thought. So instead of a close-up, like what's causing me anxiety right now is seeing all of these cars passing by, and I don't have the space because I don't live in the middle of an island, unfortunately. So I have to hurry and make this app or concept, or what is it? Like, I have to find it. I was saying, instead of a close-up screen, using projectors or designs that simulate depth and distance to relax the muscles of the eye and the ego. It's sort of like the metaphor that they use on Instagram that says, when you consider that you're living in an earth that's huge in front of you, that you're just there, like tiny little you, then you're less anxiety, less of what people care, and it's all the same concept. Like, so I actually love these pictures of the tiny little stars, and I would like to add that here so that it reminds me of this point. So in the next video, we're gonna discover together with all of these points what the final direction is going to be, the product and concept might be, and what are the different options and what can be best developed based on my experience and also on what AI can suggest me further away. We're gonna see in this week, I'm gonna research as well other important factors or maybe curiosities that can help me with the research. And then we're gonna develop this part better in the second part. Thank you for today.